I dare say it was a show of force. They will not rest until you are on your knees, fearful, cowering, helpless in the face of such power.
Lady Morrigan?
'Tis simply Morrigan to you, Scout Harding. What a pleasure to see you again.
Rook, this is Morrigan, an old acquaintance. I thought she could help.
Morrigan helped the Inquisition when Varric and I were part of it. She knew more about ancient magic than anyone, except Solas.
'Twas both pleasure and necessity to help then, as it is now. Stopping Elganon and Gillenane shall require many hands.
So who are you exactly?
I have borne many appellations. Advisor to Orle, Witch of the Wilds, friend to the Inquisition. My place here, however, is but a humble advisor on matters arcane.
Witch of the Wilds?
An honorific born of rumor and exaggeration. The fearsome reputations of your opponents, however, are duly earned. This dark turn of events shall only become worse.
Then I look forward to your help.
How refreshing. Your cooperative nature is appreciated in return.
What can you tell us about all this?
As dangerous as Solas himself may be, his imprisonment of the gods was just. To leave them unchecked would have been the very end of Thedas.
Just to be clear, you know your old friend Solas is actually the Dreadwolf.
So I have come to learn. It rather explains how he knew such a great deal of ancient elven history, and why he became so vexed when I attempted to explain it to him. Whilst I cannot claim the same depth of knowledge, the knowledge I do possess is yours for the asking.
I hope it helps. For all we know, the entire world will look like Demetus Crossing once the gods are through.
All this horror because a bunch of power-hungry gods want even more power.
When have the powerful among us ever done otherwise?
So how do we stop them?
Set aside your notions of godhood and see them for the ancient, powerful mages they are. Standing against them shall require serious magic of your own. When you interrupted the Dreadwolf's ritual, did you happen across any of the tools he used?
He had a dagger, but it got lost in the chaos.
Then you would do well to find it. 'Tis better in your hands than those of the gods.
Is there anything else Solas might have had that could help us? We're in his, well, he calls it the lighthouse?
Ah, yes, the legendary sanctum of the Dreadwolf. 'Tis said his Eluvian, the Viravas, could travel to any other Eluvian of his choosing.
That's not how it works right now. It only goes to Arlethan.
I can take a look at it. Maybe fix it, even. I know Eluvians better than most.
Any help you can offer, we'd appreciate.
If Eluvians even work the same way, all the magic is different now. Our gods are back. Our gods! And they're killing people and blinding the world. How do we stand up against that?
We stand up against them one step at a time. We don't have all the answers, but we know what we need to do. You're fixing the Eluvian at the lighthouse. Nev, Harding, and I are going to find this dagger at the ritual site. Let's get to work. There's a lot of fight ahead of us.
Indeed. Prepare yourselves well and have a care in your choices. These are the times in which legends are born or slain. In this battle, I shall render whatever assistance I am able.
Right. Let's move.
Why did Morrigan want to meet in Minrathous? Isn't she helping the Veil Jumpers in Arlethan?
Indeed. But today we have a guest, and she needed the anonymity that only a city provides.
Well, look who it is.
Good to see you, Lace.
Rook, you remember how Varric and I served the Inquisition? Well, this is Inquisitor Llewellyn, the woman who led us all.
Andaran Atishan.
Anathara. Harding told me you're with the Veil Jumpers.
As did I.
Morrigan and Harding have told me about what you've accomplished since taking over for Varric. You've put together an impressive team, and you've got the best chance, maybe the only chance, to stop Elganon and Gillenane.
I won't let you down.
Don't worry about me. Worry about the people you've recruited, and about the people depending on you. I only sealed the breach because I had people like Cassandra, Leliana, and Cullen with me from the start. Without Dorian's magic and Josephine's diplomacy, we never would have come together to stop Corypheus. Years later, I had to disband the Inquisition, but I never lost the friends who had gotten me through it all. Ultimately, they're the only ones you can really count on. Do right by them, and you'll find your way.
We've got the makings of a good team, I think. We'll do our best.
And while you do so, Rook, the Inquisitor will do her best to ensure that the rest of the world remains intact. A daunting prospect, given that most of the South is under siege by Darkspawn.
It's that bad?
If not for the Inquisitor, the South would have collapsed completely. She has not been idle while you assembled your team.
If the South is in such turmoil, why come up here just to talk? And how did you get here so fast?
Did you think you were the only one to unlock the secrets of the Illuvians?
Morrigan helped the Inquisition use the Illuvians to travel.
While I lack the Dreadwolf's Viravus, I may still scurry between the walls of this world to be where I might do the most good. The Inquisitor asked to meet you, and I thought it might help you to meet her.
I thought the gods were mostly active up here. It's really that bad in the south?
Elganon and Gillenane have indeed restricted their activities to the north. But the forces they deployed to the south, the strange new Darkspawn, have spread fear and corruption greater than any blight in history.
Darkspawn have cut through the center of Orlais. Valrorio and Halam Shiral are barely holding out. Ferelden would have fallen already, if not for help from Orzammar. With Denerim lost, the Fereldans are holding the line at Redcliffe. The Free Marchers have the worst of it. Acting Viscount Aveline Valen led the evacuation of Kirkwall. She's taking her people and what's left of her army to help Prince Vale keep Starkhaven.
Maker, we didn't know. My ma...
Don't worry. I called in a favor with the Divine. Your mother's safe with some old friends.
Thank you.
The Inquisition might be gone, but my name still carries some weight. I've used it to get people working together where they can. Again, the South is my problem, not yours, Rook. You stop the gods, and I'll make sure the rest of Thedas doesn't fall to the Blight.
I've been having some trouble getting people in authority to listen to us. If you help with some of your political strength.
My political strength? Tevinter hates me. The Venatori helped make sure of that. And while I have a few friends in the Wardens, their leadership hasn't much cared for me since we clashed at Adamant Fortress.
The Inquisitor did not come all this way to leave you with empty words, however. She brought something no one else could.
A wolf statuette. We've found others like it in the crossroads. Where'd you find yours?
I found it right around the time Solas's ritual failed, when he was pulled into the Fade. We've examined the magic, and it's tied to the Veil. To him. Somehow.
Solas is ancient, and his magic is part of him in a way far beyond that of mortals. I suggest you take it to the crossroads and see if something in the lighthouse calls to it. Perhaps it will yield some insight into your new ally.
I appreciate it. Solas has been helpful while he's trapped in the Fade, but anything that can help me get inside his head will help counter him getting inside mine.
Wisely spoken. Solas rarely lies directly, but he finds ways to weave the truth into a noose you find yourself wearing.
Morrigan is right. Solas is dangerous. Anything that gives us some insight into his plans. He fooled us all before, and the whole world very nearly paid the price for it.
We should go, Inquisitor. The armies in the south need you.
Right. Harding, stay sharp. You're my eyes in the north.
Always, Inquisitor.
Rook, good luck. If I come across anything else that can help, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you. How did you get here?
I did tell you I had my ways through Illuvians when I introduced you to the Inquisitor, did I not?
The Illuvians in general, yes, but not the Dreadwolf's crossroads.
I would think you have more pressing questions at the moment. Questions about Solas and Mythal?
Mythal?
The two gods have always been linked, have they not? First, when Mythal bade her companion spirit to abandon the Fade and take on mortal form. Then, when Solas spilled Mythal's mortal blood, that he might absorb her power as his own.
Wait. How do you know exactly what we saw of Solas's past?
Think upon it, Rook. You saw for yourself in the Dreadwolf's memories. When Mythal stood against the gods' manipulations of the Blight, she was betrayed and struck down. Yet she survived and returned ages later to aid the Inquisition in its hour of need. How?
So, if Mythal was originally a spirit, maybe that's how she survived her body's death.
Very good. Mythal was a spirit turned elven. And when her body was struck down, to spirit, she returned. Her essence sheltered in a willing mortal vessel. Over the centuries, she journeyed from host to host, slowly amassing her former power anew. Until once again, she was struck down, on this occasion, by Solas. He absorbed her power, but not her memories.
Then where did they... Wait. You...
As you say.
Mythal, Mythad Virhim Elvenlas Alathan.
Mana Lama. Altel Vara Mythad.
Well, I should honor you a little, I think. If you're really Mythal. What? That was like how Elganon and Gillenane can talk in your head, but...
'Twas Mythal you heard, her echoes. Yet I am not the goddess returned.
What are you, then?
I once feared Mythal would consume me were I to carry her, but 'twas not so. I remain free-willed and mortal. What I now possess is but a spark of Mythal, shadowed memories through which to sift for meaning. As to our admixture, I suspect you have questions.
You would have met Solas in the Inquisition, right?
I did indeed. 'Twas before I possessed Mythal's memories. At the time, I thought Solas a scowling elven apostate whose sole passion was finding arguments. He heard me, in all my ignorance, expound on the histories of the elven people, explaining legends he had witnessed himself.
Bet he loved that.
'Tis not a memory that brings me pride.
Do you have information we can use against Gillenane or Elganon? Or Solas?
The last time Mythal faced Elganon and Gillenane, she was struck down by the very dagger you now carry.
What about Solas?
You may recall he murdered Mythal's former host to claim her godly might as his own. I hoard no untapped magical secrets, Rook. What I do possess, I share freely with you and the Veil Jumpers.
All right. So, there's the soul of an elven god inside you. How does that even happen?
Mythal's last host was my mother, Flemeth.
Oh.
When I learned she intended me to become the next receptacle of an ancient god's soul, I feared naught would be left of my own. It inevitably came to pass on a deep night. I was awakened by the presence of a blaze of magic in the shape of a woman who both was and was not my mother.
I don't think I'd recover from that.
Neither did I, at the start. Mythal's memories were both gift and burden, this blazing woman told me, but I must accept them of my own accord. The decision was paralyzing. What would it mean to become such a host? What would be lost if I refused? In the end, 'twas something in my mother's voice which guided me.
What was that?
Regret. Not the regret of a god, but of a mother who knew she would never see me again. And so, my mind remains my own. What I gained was knowledge, both Mythal's and of those who bore her.
How can you carry Mythal's soul if you're not an elf?
Her spark has sheltered within both elves and humans who were sympathetic to her in thought and circumstance. Mythal's last host was a woman wronged, trapped by those sworn to love her. We may readily imagine their kinship.
You didn't come out here just to tell me you're Mythal.
I am not Mythal in her entirety, but yes, the Dreadwolf has occasion to visit you in dreams, where he portions out advice. And now, after finding his memories, you have peered into his deepest sorrows. Tell me then, what do you make of Solas?
I should ask you. Mythal knew Solas better than anyone.
I would influence your answer. Or do you mean to discover if I would stand directly against the Dread Wolf, were there a need?
Would you?
I shall aid you in any way but that, even had I the power. What has passed between Solas and Mythal? I beg you, do not ask this of me again.
Solas talks a lot about what has to be done, being forced to make hard choices. But it's like he's trying to talk himself into it. I think, deep down, he doesn't entirely believe what he's saying.
'Tis exactly like the old wolf to tie himself into the most intricate knots. 'Tis not malice which made Solas your opponent, but conviction, a belief that only he may halt what he set in motion. Yet Solas was once beloved of Mythal. 'Tis his very loyalty and love for his people that led to the tragedy we now face. You may be in a position to determine how it ends, more so than either of you might realize.
Maybe there's a way we all get what we want.
Do you truly believe such a thing?
Well, maybe at least what we deserve.
If you would shape the outcome of your battle, I've one last secret to share. When Mythal was struck down by the other gods, it was with her own lyrium dagger, the dagger you now carry. Solas recovered it from Elganon, and from it extracted a fragment of Mythal that had lain hidden within its depths. This fragment, a younger sister to the one I carry, if you will, resides here, in the crossroads. I can open the way for you. Find her, survive the encounter, and the essence you obtain will aid you in times to come.
Another fragment of Mythal, in addition to the one inside you.
You are aware of what the word fragment means, are you not? One small piece of many, formed when something greater is broken. The first elves were spirits, as you well know, and when a spirit is broken, it may shatter into pieces, each holding part of the original. Among the ancient elves who became known as gods, Dirthaman and his brother, Falondine, are but one example.
All of that sounded great until I survived the encounter.
You know Solas, and have seen Elganon, and memories of Mythal. They are creatures of emotion, as all spirits are. The fragment of Mythal that resides in me lived among mortals for thousands of years. She has grown wiser and more patient. This younger sister has not. She is the essence of Mythal as a god. She is unlikely to listen to polite requests, and though she is but a fragment of the goddess, the battle will test you sorely.
If she's just going to attack us, why tell us about her at all? We have enough enemies already.
A fragment of a god's essence is a powerful thing. It may give you options against Veilguard and Gillenane, or against the Dreadwolf himself, should he prove as cunning and treacherous as ever.
If I were to try to talk with her, do you have any suggestions?
She will demand respect, but detest flattery. She appreciates righteous anger, but will not tolerate pity. She is, for want of better phrasing, prickly. But if you are determined to try, then I wish you luck.
You would know this aspect of Mythal better than anyone. Could you try talking to her?
I dare say she would attack me on sight.
Spirits can't get along with fragments of each other.
Spirits, certainly. But the aspects of a self-righteous god who have walked different paths for ages? One bears the insult of her betrayal by the Evanurus, and then by Solas, as fresh wounds, insult upon injury. The other once fell in love with an Alamari chieftain and lived happily in a swamp for centuries. Each reminds the other that another path existed, that they could have been wrong, and nothing angers Mythal like being wrong.
What kind of spirit was Mythal before she became an elf? I know Solas is elven for pride.
Mythal enjoyed ruling and having power, but it came not from the overweening desire to crush resistance, as is the case with Veilguard. The emotion that inspired her might best be described as benevolence, a guiding hand inclined to kindness. But like any spirit, when angered or twisted against her purpose, a more violent aspect arose. Where the Dreadwolf's wisdom gave way to pride when the world did not meet his standards, Mythal's benevolence gave way to retribution. After all, when kindness fails, the guilty must be punished.
Thank you for the information, Morrigan.
I only ask that you reflect upon what I have said. The Dreadwolf is not so apart from the world as he thinks. There, you have the advantage of him. Events are weaving together quickly now, Rook. For good or ill, the fate of the world shall be decided soon. I received Harding's missive. Your plan is sound.
So the Inquisitor's in?
Indeed, although she requires a few days to set events in motion. Time is needed to allot her responsibilities to those who are capable of managing them. Once settled, she has pledged herself to your cause. The snake's head must be severed, else the body simply grows anew. And what of your other allies? Will they also be ready? There is no room left for doubt or hesitation.
Only one of us has a fragment of a god inside them, Mythal.
I carry only her memories, not her strength, nor her capacity for strategy.
Well, either way, our allies will be ready.
As they must be. There will not be another opportunity to foil the schemes of Veilguard and Gillenane. If we fail in this, they gain all that is needed to reshape the world in their twisted image. The evil put into place with the aid of their Arnhem servants at Tearstone will cover the entire world.
Look, the gods can't blight the world without their dagger. And they can't finish their dagger until the eclipse, which isn't for another.
While you gather your people, I will find the Inquisitor. And Rook, I wish you great luck.
Morgan!
Quickly now! Destiny is a heavy burden to bear. And growing heavier by the moment. I felt the veil weaken when Gillenane fell. I expect that when Solas imprisoned the other gods, he bound them all thus. And now that Elganon is the only one left,
We kill him, and the veil collapses.
Which is why Solas gave me the dagger. Damn it. He said something about this in that memory of him binding the gods. I thought he was just stealing their magic. I didn't realize he meant it literally. We still have to kill Elganon. So what can we do? Can we tie the veil to something else to keep it in place?
I doubt any simple substitution would suffice. The veil was made to be tied to the ancient elven gods.
Then let's tie it to Solas. He's the only elven god left.
Binding him will require drawing his blood with the lyrium dagger.
And I doubt he's going to like the idea.
Cutting him to bind him to the veil. That's blood magic. We do it if we have to. But only if we have to. What about this?
The dagger we made while you were in the Fade.
Once Elganon is dead, odds are good that Solas will need to do something else to complete his ritual. This dagger looks identical, but it can't cut through enchantments like the real thing. So if he tries to use it...
The backlash of such magic would render him helpless.
Unless he notices. You really want to try a bait and switch on the Dreadwolf?
Is there any chance at all, that he would listen to reason?
Did he listen to you when you spoke with him years ago, Inquisitor?
Varric died trying to reason with him.
As did Mythal when Solas took her power.
We have you, Morrigan. You have Mythal's memories. And we have the essence of the other fragment of Mythal from the Crossroads.
Such power, even fragmented, is not to be taken lightly. Hold it for now, and when the time comes, if you believe the Dreadwolf's heart can be turned from this course, I shall try. And whose fault is that, Dreadwolf?
Morrigan.
One appellation among many I wear. I have been advisor to Orlais, Witch of the Wilds, daughter of Flemeth, and once, long ago, an old friend.
Mythal lives on in her. And in this.